Good evening, Super Metroid speedrun fans. Welcome back for more Super Metroid multi-category tournament action. In this 2020 edition of the tournament, we got ourselves a great race here between JargleBargle and Nevdi, and they'll be taking on the any percent all bosses category. My name is the Hockey Town, and I'm joined by Ditmook. What's going on, Ditmook? All right, Mook's going to join us in just a minute, but our racers are readying up. It looks like they're almost ready to begin. We hope that you're ready for a jam-packed day and night of Super Metroid speedrun action. Plenty of races to go, but right now our focus is entirely on this matchup. Two titans of speedrunning, JargleBargle and Nevdi, are going to be taking on this all bosses category.
All right, I'm here. I had extra sound open and was talking to mute, so I'm starting off really strong here.
You're doing great, Mook. Great to hear you. Great to have you aboard. Are you as hyped for this race as I am?
I'm pretty hype. It's been a while since I've done this. I miss doing it, but I got too busy with that real life thing.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But thank you for taking the time to find the time to join the commentary for this tournament. It's great to have you. And all you people out there in listener land and viewer land, it's great to have you aboard as well. Looks like our race has begun. Both runners starting off on Cirrus Station. But for those of you who have seen a Super Metroid speedrun before, you'll be more than familiar with this opener. Our runners are going to damage themselves down to approximately 24 HP to make their way through this Ridley cutscene, this canned battle, as quickly as possible.
There's not a terribly lot to series, but it is a frustrating minute or minute and a half of gameplay, especially like when you're trying to be accurate with your motions. It really doesn't start out. I mean, it's not like you're going to not get out of here, but it's kind of nerve-wracking, especially just trying to get everything right.
Oh, there's no question about that, Mook. A very good observation. Series is a deceptively challenging segment of the game. I personally, with my limited Super Metroid speedrunning experience, I've barely cracked 40 seconds on Sirius Station. And so the really good runners, you'll see them do 46s, 45s like it's nothing. But a couple of respectable times here for both JargleBargle and Nevdi as they head down to the surface of Zebes.
Now, I didn't see the setups. Do we know the Moonfall? Are they using it? Who uses it?
That's actually a question, Mook. I didn't see myself either, but Nevdi's going to be the first one into this reverse climb, and yes, he is utilizing Moonfall, but JargleBargle's not far behind, and we'll see if he's also chosen to use Moonfall.
So by reverse climb, you mean falling?
Absolutely, absolutely. The fall. Oh yes, JargleBargle also utilizing Moonfall.
So this race is pretty much nullified by it not being an appropriate fall speed race.
You
I
hear
don't
that,
know about
runners?
you.
Apparently, you've been disqualified.
I don't know about you, but in my house we obey the laws of physics.
Right on, Moog.
Well, I guess gravity is a theory, but you know, I don't think anyone here is going to be overly judgmental of my misuse of scientific lingo.
Not in this crowd, Moog. Not in the Super Metroid speedrun community. But here we got a little high five here. JargleBargle entering construction zone. Nevdi's already back through and up the elevator back to Old Torian. But both runners picking up their first major minor items there, the morph ball and the missile.
So all bosses is a pretty interesting category. It's not a very common category to be ran. It's not unheard of, but I think it's kind of nice. You'll see some different tech and different routing than you would see through any percent and any other category. Plus, you get a score spawn appearance.
Well, we do love those of us who love Super Metroid speedrunning. Love to see Spo. Love to see the DLC content made available by Nintendo just for this category and a couple others.
Plus, it's another category where Croc's at, and I mean that pretty much solidifies it as a legit category.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Looks like Nevdi's the first to reach bomb trees to pick up his next major progression item, the regular bombs.
Yeah, 5:05 entrance to bombs, very solid, reasonable time. By reasonable, I mean respectable. Apparently, after a full day of working from home, I can't words very well.
Well, if you can't words very well, Mook, you're in great company because lately this week I've been incredibly tongue-tied. So my job today is to not to stumble over my words too much tonight. But Nevdi with a really clean bomb to Rizzo fight avoids the decapitation animation. We'll see if JargleBargle fares just as well as Nevdi makes his way back up into Parlor and goes for Alcatraz Escape.
Very nice Terminator there. Unfortunately for Jargle, BT was kind of stingy with the missiles during the fight, so he had used the pew pew shots way more than most people would like to.
Right, you are, Mook, and now we'll see Jargle's attempted Alcatraz escape. Gets the mid-air morph and he's through. Meanwhile, Nevdi going for the first major sequence break of the game, the early Super's Mock Ball. And definitely executes it perfectly. First try. Gonna go grab those super missiles. So despite the fact that this is an all bosses category, it's faster to not fight Spore Spawn first and grab his coveted super missiles on the intended route.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense to stop and grab them there. You can take them with you into there, so it's kind of nice. It makes sense, I guess. Unless you can't mock ball or you're terrible at it like I am.
I myself am good on the early Super's Mock Ball for at least 2 to 3 tries per run, so like I said earlier, you're in good company, Mook.
I think I spent 10 minutes doing it last time I tried.
It's excellent practice. I'm just looking for a silver lining here, of course.
Well,
Looks like,
yeah. Silver lining is everyone else gets to play and they'll have to worry about watching.
Right, you are. JargleBargle with an excellent early supers mock ball, well executed. Nevdi, though's got the charge missiles and the charge beam.
But you do save the best for last in this category. I believe that Spospo is the last boss that they will fight.
Yeah, I think you're right, Mook. So far, the all bosses races that I've commentated, Spospo has been the last. And it looks like JargleBargle here picking up. I thought he was going with a safety pickup there with the Brinstar Reserve, but now he's electing to pick up the missiles. So just picking up some extra ammunition, going for some safeties. So that's good. Good looking out by Jargle. Nevdi, though, is through the bottom of Red Tower, heading over to Kraid. And we'll see whether any of our runners will take Kraid to the prom tonight.
Nice missile entrance.
Oh, that was wicked. Yeah, definitely, Mook. That was wicked smooth from Nevdi. Just makes that gap perfectly. Blows down that wall with a bunch of super missiles. Very nice from Nevdi.
So I'm gonna guess from Nevdi we're gonna see the 4 super missile Craig quick kill, if I can't talk.
I think you're right, Mook. He hasn't selected missiles yet, but he's in Morph Ball to avoid getting too lagged down from Kraid's appearance. Oh,
And dancing.
We're taking him to prom. Just Nevdi barely missing on 2 of those 4 supers, but still got 4 missiles on tap.
It's always interesting when Kraid stands up that runners, I want to say they panic, but it's one of those things you don't practice it, so when it happens, you're just like, I don't exactly know what I want to do.
No, for sure. That looked well practiced from Nevdi. Finishes off Kraid with a pair of pea-shooter charge shots. JargleBargle's picked up these Spo supers, so augmenting his considerable ammo count already, then picking up the charge missiles and the charge beam. Meanwhile, we'll see if Nevdi's going to stop by the janitor's closet of Kraid's warehouse to pick up an extra E-tank.
I'm thinking we're going to see the E-tank picked up. I don't know what most people pick up, but I'm imagining 4 to 5 is pretty standard unless you're one of the top runners.
No, absolutely. I think that Kraid E-tank, it's accessible. It's on the way out when you're leaving Kraid's warehouse. It's not exactly easy to miss, but also, lends a considerable amount of safety to an already pretty tough category.
Nice mouth ball by Nevdi.
So Jargle's into Red Brinstar now, heading over to Kraid. Nevdi making his way down Business Center to pick up those high jump boots.
I mean, it's been a while since I've watched this category in detail, so I'm kind of, I guess, slightly shocked because the way I naturally think everyone would take this category, that Spazer would actually be pretty beneficial. But then again, I don't know because I'm not good.
I think Mookie bring up an interesting point. I mean, I think more firepower is always better than less. Spazer would definitely benefit these runners all the way up until they head to Meridia, just like in any percent old route. But I think Nevdi is going to do a little bit of Norfair cleanup and then head straight to wreck ship. So very similar to KPDR. But you're right. Spazer is a nice safety item. I pick up Spazer when I run any percent. I've never run all bosses before. But yeah, Pliskin and Chad pointing out more firepower, more better. That's definitely a mantra I live by, and like I said, my limited Super Metroid speedrunning career.
Oh, I'm definitely scorched the earth and pretty much anything. If you're going to do it, you might as well blow up everything.
Right on, Moog. That's a awesome way of putting it. Jargle's setting up against Kraid here. He's got the morph ball to cut down on lag. He's going with the missile setup here. So both runners taking Kraid to prom. No Kraid quick kills, but hey, that's all right. The one downside to the missile setup, or I should say an advantage of the charge beam setup, is that the charge beam pins Kraid's arm in place, and getting those supers around that hand, that arm, can be a little bit tricky sometimes.
So Kraid, I think, officially has spent more time at prom tonight than my date spent with me at my prom, or one of mine.
Say it ain't so, Mook.
It's a story for another time, but she got kicked out for not a very good reason. Basically, because she just stepped outside and they're like, you can't come back in.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Tyranny of
That
high
is a
school
terrible
administrator.
reason.
Like, there's not even a fun story with it, but I don't want to take away from the runners with my terrible, my social life from 20 years ago.
It's all good, Mook, and what's also all good for Nevdi is he's already through double chamber and got the wave beam. Meanwhile, JargleBargle's gonna head out of Kraid's warehouse, having defeated Kraid, no problems at all. And also gonna pick up that janitor's closet E-tank of Kraid's warehouse. And we'll see if Nevdi scales all the way up through double chamber with a tidy wall jump off of the edge of that platform. So Nevdi's into Frogway here. Going to use that boosted speed from the speed booster to smash through all those frogs and those blocks. Jargle, though, is heading down Business Center. He'll pick up his high jump boots. And here I have another little high five in Business Center from both runners. But guessing from the routing and early decision making, Nevdi's going to be heading straight to wreck ship.
And I guess just me thinking about how this route could be, I feel like if you could do a lava dive, is going down to Ridley a good decision, or is the health too tight? I mean, you could go to Croc and get that E-tank.
That's a good point, Mook. I mean, there are a lot of different ways to tackle this category as far as I know, but so far I have not seen that routing in the couple races that I've commentated. But as you pointed out, I mean, I think it's down to runners comfort level. But lava dive, pretty tricky, pretty tough strat.
Yeah, that's why I could see why not everyone would do it, but and if it's faster with plasma in the long run, I can't argue. I mean, I know people have spent way more time timing it out and putting in a lot of work. So, hey, more power to them. Just from a linear progression, sort of, it seems that way to me. So, but linear doesn't always tell the best story.
No, for sure, for sure. It is a little bit more of an esoteric category. I know that it was. I found out I was listening to Kip's commentary on an all bosses match the other night. It was actually lobbied by Oats and Goats who lobbied to add it to the extension categories, I should say. But still a really interesting category. I think you get to show off kind of different movement technique that you'd find in any percent or in 100%. Speaking of movement technique, Nevdi going to cross the moat here. He's going to spark across it. And Jargle's going to get that speed booster, which will enable him to use the Shine Spark movement technique that Nevdi's about to use. Oh, the commentator curse strikes again. Nevdi sparking up into the ceiling. I'm sorry about that, Nevdi.
Going for Ocean Fly. Very fancy. Now, not going for Ocean Fly, but that's understandable.
No, absolutely. It looks like he's setting up for a little short charge through the door here to spark across the ocean. Meanwhile, Jargle's getting a quick farm here, exiting Speed Booster, while Nevdi's going to go tangle with Fantoon.
Well, I think it's safe to say that Nevdi will not be doing Nintendo Power Strats of 5 Supers.
One could hope, Mook. One could hope. For those of you in the audience who are unaware, hitting Fantoon with a super will cause an enrage pattern that takes, Mook, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 18 seconds?
Give or take.
Give or take, and that's per super. So if you follow those Nintendo Power Strats, I mean, though they say use 5 supers, that's a lot of seconds. But what's not a lot of seconds is Nevdi's Fantoon fight. I believe that was a 2-round with 2 X Factors. Really tidy fight.
Yeah. So if you do want to use some super missiles, you can use an X Factor because the particles basically do the same amount of damage as a super missile. So it's pretty fancy. You activate it by doing you select power bombs with just one other beam other than charge. Hold down your charge beam and eventually you'll get it. There's one for each one.
Right on, right on. So Nevdi picking up some supers, making his way up to the attic. Looks like JargleBargle's heading to the frog way to blast through some frogs with that speed booster. And some really nice movement technique here from Nevdi, getting the attic spark, clearing out all the enemies in the attic with a shine spark. Very, very nice from Nevdi.
Both runners using a lot of good, solid tech. Even you can see that Jargle's probably a near runner. I don't know the times that they have, but doing a lot of good, safe, smart moves.
Absolutely. For both these runners, their movement has looked very tidy as we make our way approximately to the halfway point or so. Nevdi gets a nice little breather here with the bowling cutscene. That Chozo statue taking him down to the gravity suit.
Alright, so Nevdi now has the frog suit, can move freely in all the liquids that may be encountered throughout the rest of the...
We do love that gravity suit and its beautiful, swagalicious purple paint job.
Very much the purple Varia suit, as it has been called before.
Right on. So it's like,
but honestly, it's really overpowered.
Well, in Rando, they nerf it a little bit, though, Mook, right? They don't let you have the heat damage reduction.
And the environmental damage is removed in Rando. But here, I mean, that's, you know, new route runners do that. They can just pick up the gravity suit, depending on what's going on, and they don't have to worry about heat damage or water damage. That's not a thing. Sorry. Environmental damage, like spikes and stuff, lava.
Well, Mook, I'm picking up what you're putting down. The acid is mostly water.
Yeah. It's been a while since I did chemistry, but yeah.
All right, Nevdi blowing open that Meridia tube, heading up into Meridia, my personal favorite section of the game. And he's got two bosses to defeat here, Batwoon and Dragon.
And we may see another X Factor here at Batwoon, so that's always kind of fun to watch.
I'm looking forward to seeing if he goes for the decalled strat. I see decalled in chat. Shout outs to decalled. I believe it was sometime last year that he came up with this amazing setup for X Factoring Batwoon, just kind of going about 2/3 of the way to the right in the room, and then the X Factor particles just kind of flow and follow behind you and just crash into Batwoon's face. It looks as cool. It looks as cool as it is effective, which is highly effective. And thus, highly cool, if you will.
It seems to be a more consistent setup than the old setup where you just stood under the entrance hole for Batwoon and you tried to time the jump just perfectly.
No, absolutely. And Nevdi definitely showcasing that decalled X Factor setup on Batwoon. A very, very good fight, a one cycle, finishing off Batwoon with a bunch of supers.
It's the best kind of snack, dead snack.
Absolutely. And Nevdi now going for Halfy here. Got the wall jumps. That was well executed from Nevdi. Meanwhile, it looks like JargleBargle is going to be crossing the moat to go face Fantoon. I like this play from JargleBargle. It looks like he's taking a safety save over at the ship, getting a refill and also a save, because Fantoon can be very trolly. Runners new and old have succumbed to Fantoon. So it doesn't matter your skill level, it's just a very challenging boss.
I mean, you look at some of the high-profile races and you see the best runners go out of them, and that's always seems to be the choke point.
Oh, for sure, for sure. But it's got 3 E-tanks. His health looks really, really good thanks to the ship refill. Nevdi, though's got 4 tanks. He's set up against Dragon, pounding Dragon's belly with those super missiles. Looks like he's going to try to finish off Dragon with a Shine Spark, and does so, and getting a blue suit because he finished off Dragon with that Shine Spark.
And the blue suit is created by magic, or something doesn't reset because when you hit Dragon like that, but I think magic's a better answer.
No, absolutely, Mook. When in doubt, go with magic. Now, a downside to the blue suit over its cousin, the spike suit, is that Nevdi will be unable to use the run button until he's ready to unleash that Shine Spark that is stored as a result of getting that blue suit. So you see there, he activated the Shine Spark timer before exiting the door, and now gets the, as Zos calls it, the Wample Spark. I had only heard it referred to as the reverse full Happy, but I've been corrected to say that it is the Wample Spark.
I'm down with a Wample. I'm not real sure what it is, though.
Well, there's I guess there's a classic movement technique for that section before the Happy and reverse Haffies came into vogue. I guess it was called the Wample Jump, where you maintained your forward momentum while continuing to space jump all the way across that room, across Coliseum. But recently, I think Zos said, no, that's not the reverse full Happy, that's the Wample Spark. So now you have 2 options exiting Coliseum. You can go for the Wample Spark or the classic Wample Jump. And the etymology on the term Wample is your guess, Mook, is as good as mine.
I mean, if it's like waffles, which it always makes me think of, I'm 100% for it.
But whether waffles or Wample, it's an impressive piece of movement technique.
But if Zost is calling it the Wample Spark, I guess I really can't argue with him.
So it looks like JargleBargle's opening up against Fantoon, going with missiles, trying to pelt that pesky eye that always has a tendency to close way too fast of Fantoon.
It's the almost eye, like you're almost there every time, and then it gets shut.
Shoutouts to Zost in chat, setting the record straight on the origins of the term Wample, whether spark or jump. Nevdi making his escape from Meridia. JargleBargle has damaged Fantoon quite a bit. It's got the color change on Fantoon.
Almost
just
there.
looking to seal Fantoon's fate by damaging him down enough and then hopefully finishing off with a super missile.
I think a super might do it here. I'm not 100% sure.
He's really close. That Fantoon is very, very dark red.
And he
does. Excellent fight from JargleBargle. Nevdi, though, picking up Ice Beam, and then he's going to pop down through South Route and go straight to Croc before heading to Lower Norfair. So a very tidy routing there, saving Ice Beam for almost really the last beam pickup that he's going to make, since he already has Plasma, Charge, and Wave. But he can just go straight from Ice to Croc, from Croc to Lower Norfair.
But exciting news is there's Croc, so...
Oh, absolutely. And Croc with Plasma, all sorts of hijinks ensue.
Almost did looked like we almost had a croc skip there, which would not have been good.
It's definitely more convenient to get him on the way down than the way in, and something kind of goofy happened there. I believe Croc almost kind of ate Nevdi's plasma shot. It didn't kind of stick and damage him with that the penetrating ability of the plasma beam, but now on the second try he gets it. And also stunting on Croc by doing the moonwalk and waving to us.
So interesting strategy over here by Jargle that you don't see that often, but I would say a pretty smart pickup for a newer or less experienced runner. He went and got the right side supers here in the wreck ship to, up the firepower. So like I said, scorch the earth, be ready.
That's a terrific observation, Mook. I'm definitely in favor of picking up more supers, especially if you're like me and uncomfortable shine sparking against Dragon. Very good pickup. Another good one to grab would be the Crab supers or even the Aqueduct supers. And we'll see if he grabs either of those, but he's going to head into Meridia just absolutely strapped with ammo and can go for a very, very tidy ammo kill against Dragon.
I really like in Jargle's strategies. Very, you would say, not optimal, but they're very well suited for his play style and his experience level. I really like, and he's very smooth, and like came out of that safe room and the wreck ship and shot directly up to get the atomic. I forget what they drop it, but it was very, very smart. He's setting the route for his strengths.
Oh no, absolutely, Mook. That's a terrific analysis of JargleBargle's play style. It's all about strats that are consistent rather than being the absolute, one way, the fastest way through the room or through the set piece of the game. It's about comfort level, and you can push the envelope, you can bust out of your comfort zone, but that you kind of peel back the layers of the onion as your experience grows. But we've seen some really impressive stuff from JargleBargle so far.
One interesting thing is I wonder if instead of picking up the right side supers, if it would be faster to pick up the supers. I don't remember what they're called, but the criteria supers there that are right there to the left before you go across to bowling.
Oh no, that's an interesting suggestion, Mook. I don't know if I've seen runners pick up those supers before, except of course in 100%. But yeah, just absolutely like you said, following the scorched earth policy, it might be a good pickup for a newer runner to grab those supers as well.
Yeah, and just time wise, I wonder if it would be faster. I haven't timed it. It seems like it would be, just on the surface, but honestly, I think that's the one thing about this game that is always kind of impressive to me is that what seems to be the fastest is often not. Now, Nevdi just took care of GT really, really quickly. It's a fairly quick fight once you have the plasma beam because you can hit him twice per charge shot. When you're standing on his toes, he can't hit you. It's really kind of a King Hippo situation where, once your exploit is found, you're pretty much done for.
I really like that reference, Mook, tying in Super Metroid to Mike Tyson's Punch Out King Hippo, of course, with the bandage on his tummy. That's really good stuff.
Yeah, I just watched a video, like the history of like some of the records for that. really interesting stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Another
If
classic.
you're a total
speed
nerd
game.
like we are.
JargleBargle leaving Rex Shippy's back into Brinstar, utilizing the refill formerly known as the Sloater's refill. Nevdi's into the Metal Pirates room, charging up that plasma beam to dispatch them. He fires it at the back of the Space Pirates so that the plasma beam, the charge shot, can actually hit them twice and kill them in one shot. So very quick room for Nevdi.
I think those may be the most annoying things. Well, one of the most annoying things when you're like casual first playthrough, you get to those and you're like, how do I kill these guys? Nothing seems to work.
Oh, absolutely. And if you don't stand on the right tiles on the floor, I mean, they're subtly indicated. There's those little groups of 3 tiles that you can stand on and get them to just jump kick over and over. But they can just stand. If you're not standing on them, you can just stand there and, you know, just kick Samus from the ground over and over and over again. So Nevdi now heading into Ridley, taking on Ridley, pounding him with charge shots. JargleBargle is electing to pick up those crab supers, so definitely thinking that ammo kill against Dragon is on the table here. But having
Also
a high
very
super...
helpful for Watoon.
I was just about to say, Mook, you were reading my mind. Going into Batoon with a ton of supers is very, very good. He'll be able to take Batoon out, no problem. Speaking of being taken out, Nevdi finishes off Ridley. Very nice fight. Nevdi beginning his lower Norfair escape. JargleBargle has summited Mount Everest with the Everest Spark. We'll see if he goes for those Aqueduct supers as well.
Seems like no to those. But shout outs to Meridia for having some really, really cool music at that. It fits the environment really.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the best tracks. I like that setup from JargleBargle to get the X Factor on Batoon, kind of lying in wait, almost setting a trap for Batoon, waiting for Batoon to come to him, and now he'll just
really
finish
nice.
off Batoon with some super missiles.
That was really, really nice. And here's a thing that I always love about commentating these races and watching different runners of all different skill levels is, you know, you can watch somebody like Zost do something, or Zost or a Kip or a Sloaters can be in a chat and be like, and you're sitting there with them, they're like, that's a really cool strat that this, you know, brand new person is doing that. They're like, I got to try to modify that or steal it.
No, for sure. One of the beautiful things about this game is the variety of the movement technique or the strategies to fight the bosses, and just kind of the way a runner develops their flow, you know, utilizes their creativity. You know, it's not just borrowing strategies or techniques from other runners, but there is some, you know, kind of solo development as well.
You do what works best for you, and then, you know, somebody else may modify it or take it, or, you know, and the whole community as a whole will like just, oh, this is what I do here, and teach someone step by step. It's really awesome.
Oh, absolutely. Looks like Nevdi's made his way up through Business Center for the last time for this run. He's only got one more mini boss to go before reaching G4. Nevdi back into Red Brinstar now. JargleBargle making his way across Coliseum and all the way down into Dragon's Lair.
Really good jump through the Coliseum there.
Yeah, without the benefit of the halfie or the full halfie, there's a deceptively difficult room to get through utilizing wall jumps. It can be really tricky. Casually, you would have grapple beam, and grapple beam does make it quite a bit easier to kind of scale those pillars with the grapple points scattered throughout that room. But very good movement from JargleBargle to make it through Coliseum there. And now setting up against Dragon with some charge shots. Nevdi going back up through Green Hill Zone. JargleBargle's got supers selected, so he's just waiting for Dragon to goop. He'll be able to deliver some of those supers, no problem.
Dragon's got to be close here.
Nevdi, though's got full beam combo, so we're going to see him attempt to one-shot poor Spore Spawn with weapons that Spore Spawn never thought Samus Aran would have at her disposal at this point in the game.
So Jargle just had what looked like a super go completely through Dragon, like just full on. I don't know how to explain it. Clip him or her. It was weird, and I think that would have been the shot to kill her, and just really unfortunate.
Oh, that was unfortunately a really bad time for some bad luck, but he's got plenty of missiles, and it looks like he has finished off Dragon. Very nice fight from JargleBargle. So Nevdi leaving Green Brinstar, it's going to deposit him pretty much right outside G4. JargleBargle going to collect that space jump. So with the space jump, he won't have to utilize a green gate glitch to get to Golden Trees, though he can lower the acid by heading left once he reaches Lower Norfair. So unlike GT Classic, green gate glitch is not a technique that a runner needs to have in their arsenal to complete in any percent all bosses run. However, it is faster than going kind of the so-called long way around to get to GT.
So Nevdi gets a little chance to stretch here. You know, wipe the sweat off your palm, all that kind of stuff, while you wait for the statues to crash. Also to note, just why we're waiting for everything to kind of pick back up here, lots of races for the rest of the night. I believe there's one at 6, at least one at 7, and one at 11 p.m. Eastern time. So lots of good runners, lots of good time.
Absolutely, Mook. There is, like we said at the beginning, this Friday evening is just chock-a-block full of Super Metroid action. Many, many more races to come. And this is only the second round just in the Swiss rounds of this tournament. The Swiss rounds will establish a top 16 playoff bracket. So y'all better buckle in, because there's a lot of Super Metroid coming your way in the weeks to come.
Yeah, I really love the Swiss bracketing. It allows for the matches throughout the tournament to be a little more balanced. They may not be as balanced early, but as you go on, they kind of balance out, and everyone gets a pretty good chance to be successful.
No, absolutely, Mook. I think Swiss is a great way to hold a tournament, especially something like a multi-category where you're attracting runners of all skill levels. And like you said, as the tournament will progress, it will definitely balance out. You'll have runners with a lot of W's facing runners that also have a lot of W's, and vice versa. As Nevdi gets ready to skip the baby, we'd like to take this time to also point out that an interesting aspect of the Super Metroid Multi-Category Tournament 2020 is that there's a cash prize pool waiting for I believe the top 4 or even top 8 runners. You'll have to correct me on that. In the playoff bracket, and those cash prizes are provided by 2 very generous sponsors, Mega Cat Studios and Bowls Guarana. Nevdi with a successful baby skip. Very nice movement technique from him.
Nevdi with the nice safety save here. Really good thing. Really smart idea.
That was definitely a heads-up play from Nevdi. Another heads-up play is deactivating Screw Attack. Screw Attack resets your iframes, making the ice Zeb skip all but impossible. But he's got it deactivated, and he's pounding Mother Brain 1 with some supers and finishes her off very quickly.
Now, Jargle just got through one of the pancake room there. Very difficult room setup. Not like hard, but like to do it really efficiently. It's almost a perfectly designed room to make it like really tight windows for a runner to have to get to.
No, absolutely, Mook. That is a very tough room, deceptively tough. But JargleBargle making it look easy and now destroying all of the pink pirates so that he may exit the plasma room. Nevdi, though, going up against Mother Brain 2, but with that full charge combo. No sweat for Nevdi. He's already through the fight and heading into the baby cutscene. JargleBargle making his way down the toilet, paying 1 super to head down there. And now he's going to be exiting Meridia. Meanwhile, Nevdi just 1 cutscene away from the escape, or I should say the Mother Brain 3 fight, where he'll be equipped with the Hyper Beam.
So I think Mother Brain 3 is kind of a really interesting dynamic, and I've got mixed feelings on it because at first, it's nice to get the powerful weapon and just knock the living crap out of something. But then I think about it as like the very end of the game, like you expect maybe a little bit more, and it's fairly easy in terms of the scale of the entire game.
No, for sure, Mook. They definitely kind of reward you for the fights that you go through, the Mother Brain 1 and 2 fights, and then the Mother Brain 3 fight, while not trivial, is definitely a lot easier than the first 2 fights. So Nevdi beginning his escape, JargleBargle going to pick up that ice beam, completing his beam combo for this category.
One unfortunate thing about this category, no chance of a blue bomber.
That's true. Blue bomber is a very swaggy strat. Love to see it executed in 100%, or any other type of rando or category that picks up spring ball.
Spring ball RTA next tournament. Calling it.
Nevdi just all the way through the reverse climb, or I should say the climb. We already had the reverse climb, which is just the fall, but Nevdi making his way back to the ship. And Nevdi picks up the W with an official SRL time of 54 minutes and 32 seconds. GG's to Nevdi.
Croc just getting mocked all over the place today.
Oh yeah, JargleBargle definitely joining in the fun, stunting on Croc with that moonwalk, I should say.
People really need to put some respect on his name.
JargleBargle has defeated Croc, so he'll be heading to Lower Norfair. Nevdi, though, finishes in first place, so we will see if he will join us for a short interview. All right, we are joined by today's winner, Nevdi. GG's.
Hey, Hockey GG. Hello again.
Good to see you, Nevdi. What are your takeaways from this race? An interesting category for sure.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's fun. You get like a little bit more movement things. I guess the way I route it, Croc's on the path, GT's on the path, so it's not too bad. But I like the spoof bow at the end, funny enough. There's some fun tech through those rooms. But yeah, good race. I was really cold to start with. I was it's like -20, or rather +20 at Aria, +30 at Grav, and then I ended up with a PB. So that's going to be fun to run against. I got a 3-second PB in that one.
All right, congrats on the PB, Nevdi. We always like to see runners PB.
Yeah, it'll be fun to run against. This tournament's great in getting you to do these other categories, and I think I'll return to this one. It's pretty. I like 80% a lot, so it's nice with a slight take on it. It's good fun.
Absolutely. So you split your first 2 races in these first 2 rounds. So heading into round 3, you'll likely be matched up with somebody who is also split. So I think the competition's going to be heating up here in the rounds to come.
I still think this next round's going to be a bit sporadic. It's a bit hard to get it right yet because there's some crazy good 1-1 runners. So I don't know how the seeding's going to work. I don't know where I'm going to be, but happy with the 1-1. And I'll just wait to see who I get because there's a few people. Well, it's lots of people rather that are going to crush me. So we'll see what happens.
Well, we hope that you won't get crushed. We always like to see any type of race, but especially competitive ones. So we definitely look forward to seeing you in the next round.
Thanks, Hockey. I thought you were going to say especially me, but you know.
So were you lurking in Sloter's chat?
No. What do you mean?
I'm going to take that as a yes. I'm going to take that as a yes. It's purely coincidence that I've commentated your races, Nevdi. I'm definitely not an unabashed Nevdi fan, nor a fan of Australia. I think Australia is just okay, you know.
Yeah. I get a lot of comments on the accent too. Some people like it, and I see Thor rudely in the chat doesn't like it, so I want to have a word to him later. But thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for comms. Thanks to Jargle. I know he had some stream issues and he's worried about it. I just want to tell him, don't worry about it. It's fine. Like we get it. Heaps of people are at home now, smashing their internet, so it's really hard to get consistent streams. But I'm watching it fine. I'm gonna watch him race out the rest of this one. So GG to Jargle, and thanks again to everyone. I'll see you next week.
Absolutely, Nevdi. Mook, you have anything for Nevdi?
Nope, I think you handled it all. I'm just being a fly on the wall sort.
Right on. Well, thank you so much, Nevdi. All right, JargleBargle has finished off GT. Really nice fight using that strategy, as Mook pointed out earlier. You can just kind of pin GT in the corner there and just launch all those plasma shots at him.
Tons of supers, and that's always nice down here in Lower North area.
Now, I like this here from JargleBargle. Looks like he's setting up for fast pillars. Well executed from JargleBargle. Really, really nice.
This one's got a lot of the beginnings of a lot of good swag tricks that are actually productive too.
No, absolutely, Mook. I think Jargle's got a very bright future in these slightly more esoteric but mostly vanilla categories. Definitely not randomized, but that Jargle showing off with that screw attack makes worst room in the game simply just another room in the game. Able to crash through that ceiling, use that space jump, use that screw attack. So a very, very comfy item to have for Lower North Fair, and again utilizing that screw attack to just buzzsaw through these key hunters.
Yeah, worst room in the game just becomes mediocre room in the game when you have this weapon set.
And Jargle wisely taking a safety there before heading down into Wasteland and further getting close to Ridley. Ridley can be very trolly, even with as many energy tanks as our runners have in this race. But safeties are always a good idea in a race, because otherwise it could just be a total run ender. And we love to see in any type of tournament, but especially in this multi-category tournament, we like to see people finish their races.
Yeah, it's definitely a good idea to save here. I mean, regardless of health, I mean, everything in Lower Northfield hits hard.
That's a really good point. Those Tuskegis pack a wallop, the Iron Pirates or the Ninja Pirates, Metal Pirates. They have so many different names, so many choices. But Ridley, too, also hits like a freight train. With that tail, with those swoops, it can be a very damaging fight.
That frickin' tail. JargleBargle with plenty of ammo. I mean, so DPS-wise, he can do a lot of damage with just the supers. You can almost finish it with just super.
I love this strategy. I love the, like you said, Mook, the higher DPS that the supers afford you. He's certainly got the ammunition. He's taken to the skies, taken the fight straight to Ridley. It's so far a really, really nice fight.
Yeah, the supers, I mean, while you could optimally do it faster with charge, if you're not as experienced in manipulating his movements and everything like that, use your supers and then fall back to your charge beam. I mean,
looks like Jar was elected to finish off Ridley with missiles, expending all of his ammunition, and Ridley picks him up. Very good fight from JargleBargle.
When you're low on health, that last swoop he does to pick you up, it's kind of a clincher.
No, absolutely. I like this play from Jargle here to pick up the Ridley E-Tank, makes the escape just a lot safer. He spent all that ammunition, all that time fighting Ridley to take a death and have to do it all over again would be absolutely tragic. So heads up play from Jargle there to pick up the Ridley E-Tank.
Unfortunate Kego there.
Those platforms can be tricky. You'd love to see runners K go through them heading down, but not going back up. So a little bit of bad luck for JargleBargle there.
Would that be the reverse Kego?
Well spoken, Mook.
Now these guys, in most categories, absolutely annoying. Luckily, Screw Attack makes them pretty mediocre.
Absolutely, Screw Attack, such an OP pickup, but makes the lower Norfair escape that much safer. The Key Hunters go from being being Samus's nemesis, to just another enemy that can just get sawed right through with that Screw Attack. Mook, I'm getting confirmation in chat that it is Nemesis. So the plural of nemesis is nemesis. And JargleBargle is all the way back to Bubble Mountain, having left Norfair for good. So for JargleBargle, has only got one more boss to face, and that, of course, being Spore Spawn. But Mook, I think I speak for both of us when I say this has been, overall, the tournament and this race have just been absolutely tremendous to experience. All right, JargleBargle making his way past the Meridia Tube. and heading deeper and deeper into Brinstar to take on that Spore Spawn, that DLC.
Right, before the end of this, I'm going to stop accidentally hitting pause on the restream, so it doesn't look like I'm just staring off into a blank space.
Right on, Moog. JargleBargle heading back up through Green Hill Zone now. A little bit easier with Space Jump and Screw Attack, heading back the other way.
Very nice job with the kind of the end of the reverse halfie there, up the hills.
No, absolutely. Now all the way back into Big Pink, heading up to Spore Spawn's lair.
Some really good movement through here.
Yeah, he's definitely keeping it crisp, keeping it tidy. It's really good to see. Alright, JargleBargle setting up against Spore Spawn, looking to one-shot him with that Charge Ice Wave Plasma. Oh, this is an interesting strat. So taking off Wave Beam so it's not a double stacked Plasma. This way it's just a thinner, just a single Plasma Beam here.
Still gets the job done.
That was some, you know, some good improvisation there from JargleBargle. I don't know the exact specifics. I know there is a trick to hitting Spospo with your full beam combo there. I don't actually know how to do it, but I definitely would have just gone to supers. But that's a very creative method from JargleBargle to one-shot Spospo there. I'm just impressed by it. I'm saying that I don't have the brain cells to come up with something like that. JargleBargle heading back through Green Hill Zone. I think he's going to be looking for a ship refill. I think he's going to be heading back up Red Tower. JargleBargle using that Ice Beam to freeze those Rippers with the intended strats makes the Red Tower climb just so much smoother and easier. Now he's into Hellway. Can go with that as damage boost. Clear across Hellway. Really nice movement from JargleBargle. Yeah, he's headed to the surface of Crateria, having ascended Red Tower, so definitely looking for a ship refill. Heads up play from Jargle. As Lomian Jones points out in chat, with all of those supers refilled heading into Torian, as well as getting a nice and convenient energy refill.
It It's a very nice. All right, so I am being harassed by my 5-year-old to go take her to ride her bike. So I'm going to step out, but I do want to thank everyone for joining to watch the rest of the races. Everyone you can. Thanks to Hockey for doing this with me, and thanks for the runners for putting on a great run.
Absolutely, Buku. It's my pleasure. Thanks for letting me jump in the commentary booth with you. Looking forward to doing it again, and thank you for your support of this tournament, and thank you all those out there in listener and viewer land for your support as well. All right, JargleBargle has made it to G4. He has defeated all of the bosses and mini-bosses in this any percent all bosses category. Ammunition and energy are looking absolutely terrific. So all that stands between JargleBargle and Mother Brain is a series of Metroid rooms, 4 to be exact, and then a big old baby Metroid waiting. Heads up play there from JargleBargle, electing now to turn off Screw Attack. That allow him to skip the, or allow him to make his way through the Zebetite in the Zeb Skip. Sorry there, folks. Looks like I've still got a case of the yips for all you golfers out there. We're nearing the end of this race, and I've definitely got the yips, but that's okay. We're going to soldier on just like JargleBargle has soldiered on to complete this race. Looked great through the first Metroid room. Looking for a little grouping strat here in the second one. Gets it very well executed. 2 more Metroid rooms to go. He's got full energy and full ammunition. All right, one more grouping strat from JargleBargle. Blowing away those Metroids, leaving with nearly full energy and 30 and 30 missiles and supers. And it looks like Jargle's gonna go with the baby skip strategy. Removing the removing the gravity suit and Varia suit. That way the baby Metroid will damage Jargle down faster. Ah, I stand corrected. It was to damage himself on that iron side hopper. So now heading into allowing the baby to snatch him up with only 14 HP. Or perhaps there's a backup strat. He definitely looked like he set up for the baby skip there, so maybe it was simply a backup, but either way, not having to sit through a long cutscene where the baby drains Samus's energy. And as Sloter said, facing to the left, always looking forward, never looking back. So Juggle just a quick energy refill before heading down to face Mother Brain. And remember to deactivate that screw attack so he can get the Zeb Skip. Ammunition still looking terrific. Let's see Jargle's attempt at this Zeb skip. Going with the ice Zeb skip, perfectly executed. First try, very nice from Jargle. For those of you new to Super Metroid speedrunning, the Zebetite skip allows the runner to bypass the rest of the Zebetites, the living kind of tissue-based barriers in between the door and Mother Brain. And utilizing Samus's iframes to clip through the first one causes the remaining Zebs to not spawn. But speaking of spawn, Mother Brain 2 has spawned. She's joined the race. Jargle's got to deliver 20 charged plasma shots to Mother Brain's face before the next phase of the fight can begin. A quick dodge at those onion rings. Took one on the chin, but that's alright. Still fighting. Still energy looking great. Mother Brain into the catch-up phase now, but Jargle definitely skillfully, artfully avoiding those, and yes, he has done it. JargleBargle has defeated Mother Brain 2, about to take the rainbow beam. A quick wave to Mother Brain as she opens up with that rainbow beam. But the baby Metroid has come to Samus's aid as Mother Brain was preparing to finish off Samus with that rainbow beam of hers. But definitely an impressive overall run from JargleBargle. I was looking at the participants list, the sign-ups for this tournament. JargleBargle did not come into the tournament with a time listed or a personal best for any percent all bosses. So I can't speak for them, but this is the first time that I've seen them run any percent all bosses, so this has been highly impressive from start to finish. So as we sit through this baby cutscene, I'd like to remind you of some of the races happening tonight. At 7 p.m., we have a double feature over on SpeedGaming 2. We have Polar Bear Bunny versus Glaucio Souza. And over on SpeedGaming 5, we've got 64-bit Link versus Moo Moo Diddy. Two more matches round out our evening. At 10 p.m., we've got Papa Schmo versus Stump over on SpeedGaming. And at 11 p.m., in the twilight hours, we've got Desmus versus Asder, Channel 2 be announced. JargleBargle opening up against Mother Brain 3 now with those hyper beams. Got to land 36 of them to finally seal Mother Brain's fate. Alright, Jargle has finished off Mother Brain 3, is beginning his escape now. Making his way through those closing gates, that Hyper Beam making short work of him. And now unleashing all that fast, sparking up through that, through the floor, those speed blocks, heading into the Leodox room. Very wise to take out those space parts. They jump back and forth, they just get in the way. Makes it much tidier, much simpler to just blast them. JargleBargle making his way up through the parlor for the very last time. skillfully wall jumping off those platforms. And oh, going with the canonical ending, choosing to, well, he could taunt the animals, but maybe he'll save them. Saving them, of course, is the canonical ending. Shoutouts to Metroid Fusion. And yes, JargleBargle has saved the animals. JargleBargle back up to the surface of Crateria, all the way to the ship. And JargleBargle finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 19 minutes, and 29 seconds. GG's to JargleBargle. All right, JargleBargle, of course, finishing the race. Congratulations and GG's to him as the runner-up to Nevdi. We asked JargleBargle to join us for an interview. Unfortunately, they cannot, so we're just going to keep the train rolling. On behalf of all the tournament organizers and all of the SpeedGaming crew, cast and crew, this is the Hockey Towner, wishing you all a very, very good evening. And hope you stay tuned for plenty more Super Metroid multi-category tournament 2020 action heading your way on a SpeedGaming channel near you. So don't touch that dial.